by Alan Duke and Maarten Schenk, did the Russian news agency Sputnik digitally insert two smiling men into a photograph taken near the burning Notre Dame Cathedral and then publish it as part of their breaking news coverage of the fire? No, that is not true. LED Stories has examined video taken 1 second after the disputed image was captured that supports Sputnik's argument that their photo was not altered. However, the claim by others, not Sputnik, that the men are Muslims, expressing joy over the Christian landmark's destruction is still questionable. Quote, a photo of Muslims laughing by Notre Dame is doctored as Notre Dame burned in Paris. Images of people grieving while they watched a fire damage the iconic cathedral started to populate social media feeds. It is like losing a member of one's own family, one man told The New York Times, which reported onlookers were gasping, covering their mouths in horror and wiping away tears. End quote. A conclusion by PolitiFact that the image was faked by Sputnik is under review by the American fact-checking organization. Its executive director told LED Stories on April 21, 2019. The photograph first appeared in the timeline of Sputnik's live coverage at 21:29, 9:29 p.m. local time on April 15, 2019. The caption above the image read, quote, evacuation underway at Notre Dame Cathedral area, Paris's Ile de la Cité reports. End quote. This is the image provided to lead stories by Sputnik. The metadata of this file shows it was created on an iPhone 6 at 48.85219, 2.34816, which is 55 Rue Lagrange, 75005 Paris, France, on Monday, April 15, 2019, 7:54 p.m. Paris time. This is on Rue Dante near the intersection with Quai de Montebello, just across the Seine River from the cathedral. That puts the location of the photo right here according to Google Maps. Sputnik also provided the next file save on from the iPhone's camera, a 10-second video clip that recorded the same scene starting about a second or two after the controversial image was captured. While the two smiling men are not seen, presumably since they had passed under the police tape and beyond the photographer, the people who are seen behind them are still in the frame. The smoke from the cathedral fire also appears in almost exactly the same position. Sputnik first published the image 94 minutes after it was recorded on the iPhone near the fire, which would give little time for the photo to be altered. First, the photographer would have sent the image to the Paris editor, via email, text, or other transfer method. This could have taken just a minute. Then, the editor would have made a decision to alter the image to make it appear that there were joyous Muslims at the fire. Again, that could have happened in just moments. But it would have been much more time-consuming for a photo editor to make the digital alterations. Two existing images of smiling men who would pass for Muslims would be needed. Finding them could take time. The process of inserting them into the scene, avoiding any pixels that might reveal the deception, would be painstakingly tedious. Finally, it would have been returned to the editor who would then publish it. All of this would have been happening as the Sputnik staff was coordinating live coverage of a huge breaking news story. And why would Sputnik divert resources in breaking news coverage to carry out this deception? The news agency never made a connection between the men in the photo and any Muslim celebration of the Inferno, Sputnik France chief editor Natalia Novikova said in an emailed statement to Lead Stories. The picture was published without any comments about who these men were or what were they smiling about. They did not attract the attention of our correspondent neither during the photo shoot, nor when the photo was published. We're saddened by the fact that some media used this photo for their questionable purposes, and that they spend time on sifting through 100 of published photos to find an example of Russian menace. This image might have hardly been noticed if not for Pamela Geller, an American blogger who describes herself as a human rights activist and a foremost defender of the freedom of speech against attempts to force the West to accept Sharia blasphemy laws, and against Sharia self-censorship by Western media outlets. Geller used the Sputnik photo in a social media post that said, Muslims laugh as blaze destroys Notre Dame Cathedral during Holy Week. Quote, Muslims laugh as blaze destroys Notre Dame Cathedral during Holy Week. Notre Dame jihadis reveled in the fire engulfing the Notre Dame Cathedral in #Paris, France, sharing media photos of the flames and billowing smoke, and comments expressing their joy. End quote. Geller may have been right.